Mr. Lall was to be here tonight on the show. As you know, yesterday he joined 65-year-old citizen Ray Daggers in a walk from Crabwood Creek to 57 Village, and they continued from 57 Village this morning to number 32 Village. Mr. Lall had planned to leave Mr. Daggers and come back to Georgetown tonight for a program, but seeing the strength of Mr. Daggers and the support from the people at Berbice, he decided to stay. They would like to thank everyone who came out and lent a helping hand. Mr. Daggers would like to thank the little 11-year-old child who touched him with the words, "Thank you for fighting for our future." And finally, the walk continues tomorrow from 9 a.m. to number 32 Village. We encourage you to join.
Look at that headline. We are deploying the best technology and experts for unprecedented results in Guyana, maximizing value from all fronts. So said the Chief Financial Officer of ExxonMobil. I don't think many of the leaders of this land have a clue what that means. And the few who may think they know does not understand the full meaning of those words there. Bringing the best technology with the best experts for unprecedented results? Wow! Unprecedented results. You know what that means? It is money Exxon never see in their lifetime in the oil business. Never think of or dream of. And they are ready to grab every drop of it from every corner in that Atlantic Ocean and in every area they can. That's what the Chief Financial Officer telling the world there. It's like President Ali opens the vault of Bank of Guyana with all the gold and cash we got stored there and tell you who renting a bottom house to walk in and take what you want and go. That's what Exxon has fallen into in Guyana. It's the largest treasure trove they never expected to land their hands on. That's what they have just announced to the world they found in Guyana. And now, yes, now, what are we the owners getting out of it? This is the part I want no Guyanese ever to forget. We are heading down the road, down the ladder into poverty. I asked my staff if they would allow me to come in their yard, pick their mangoes, break up the fence, the bridge plus the yard, and the money we are receiving or the money I am giving them cannot even put back a piece of wood on the broken bridge. They said, "What? What, Mr. Lall?" I had to smile and say, yes, this is where Guyana stands with that Exxon bare-faced contract. Don't big up on yourself about that 219 we getting and smile, you know. That money cannot and will never be able to patch the roads alone that the oil company is destroying in the fight to grab this treasure trove. Let me ask this. Since when a man can walk in your yard, carry away your wealth, and left you with a damaged yard, broken fence, plus a broken down bridge, in which you got to go to the bank to take loans to fix it? Since when that can happen? You guys beginning to see what I'm talking about here? When them done with this country, ExxonMobil, Africa and Asia will be a paradise compared to Guyana. 90% of our people, you, will be beggars in this land. Not ordinary beggars, but beggars that will be left to eat out of rubbish bins. Mark my words, Guyana. And please, I beg all of you, this is what all these parasites for leaders, yes, allowing Exxon and others to do to all of us with these unprecedented results they're boasting to the world about in Guyana for them. Who's boasting for you and me in Guyana with this treasure trove they just announced they find? Just asking. This whole country should go on a complete lockdown until we get half of that treasure trove. God bless all of you. And God bless Exxon and our leaders too. A message from Glenn Lall.
Now, Mr. Lall would like this video to resonate with you, so let's have a listen again.
Look at that headline. We are deploying the best technology and experts for unprecedented results in Guyana, maximizing value from all fronts. So said the Chief Financial Officer of ExxonMobil. I don't think many of the leaders of this land have a clue what that means. And the few who may think they know does not understand the full meaning of those words there. Bringing the best technology with the best experts for unprecedented results? Wow! Unprecedented results. You know what that means? It is money Exxon never see in their lifetime in the oil business. Never think of or dream of. And they are ready to grab every drop of it from every corner in that Atlantic Ocean and in every area they can. That's what the Chief Financial Officer telling the world there. It's like President Ali opens the vault of Bank of Guyana with all the gold and cash we got stored there and tell you who renting a bottom house to walk in and take what you want and go. That's what Exxon has fallen into in Guyana. It's the largest treasure trove they never expected to land their hands on. That's what they have just announced to the world they found in Guyana. And now, yes, now, what are we the owners getting out of it? This is the part I want no Guyanese ever to forget. We are heading down the road, down the ladder into poverty. I asked my staff if they would allow me to come in their yard, pick their mangoes, break up the fence, the bridge plus the yard, and the money we are receiving or the money I am giving them cannot even put back a piece of wood on the broken bridge. They said, what? What, Mr. Lall? I had to smile and say, yes. This is where Guyana stands with that Exxon barefaced contract. Don't big up on yourself about that 219 we getting and smile, you know. That money cannot and will never be able to patch the roads alone that the oil company is destroying in the fight to grab this treasure trove. Let me ask this. Since when a man can walk in your yard, carry away your wealth, and left you with a damaged yard, broken fence, plus a broken down bridge, in which you got to go to the bank to take loans to fix it? Since when that can happen? You guys beginning to see what I'm talking about here? When them done with this country, ExxonMobil, Africa and Asia will be a paradise compared to Guyana. 90% of our people, you, will be beggars in this land. Not ordinary beggars, but beggars that will be left to eat out of rubbish bins. Mark my words, Guyana. And please, I beg all of you, this is what all these parasites for leaders, yes, allowing Exxon and others to do to all of us with these unprecedented results they're boasting to the world about in Guyana for them. Who's boasting for you and me in Guyana with this treasure trove they just announced they find? Just asking. This whole country should go on a complete lockdown until we get half of that treasure trove. God bless all of you. And God bless Exxon and our leaders too. A message from Glenn Lall. The outgoing president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, a man named Timothy Tucker, said in an interview a few days ago, all those who calling for renegotiation of this crooked one-sided oil contract are low-life. He went on to say, it is bad to change the nature of the deal after it has been signed, agreed to by all parties. He said, it's bad for business and the country's image. For a moment, I thought I was reading those words from President Ali, Jagdeo, or Norton's mouth, who's selling out this country. Never expected it was coming from a man representing the business sector of this country, knowing how wounded this country is with that crooked contract. He even went further to give an example. He said, if a business makes a deal to buy pepper from a farmer at $300 a pound, it would be improper for the farmer to suddenly expect more because the price of pepper gone up. This man got to be out of his mind to tell a farmer he mustn't ask for more on his pepper when the price for fertilizer gone up, workmanship gone up, fuel price gone up, and that farmer mustn't ask for more on his pepper. He must sell the pepper at the same price and suffer the losses. That is what Timothy Tucker, representing the business sector, telling us there. And anybody who asks for change in price or renegotiation is a hustler, according to Timothy Tucker, as he went on in his article. He or we agree $300 pound and we must supply him for $300 pound, although the price gone up all over the world. He alone must make money, and the pepper must stick to the contract price with the farmer. Would you tie business with anyone that way, Timothy, to sell peppers? Where you can't raise the price if it goes up? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me say this. your eyes pass every single Guyanese to call us low life, calling for a change in that lopsided Exxon contract. Let me ask this. Have you secured yourself with a few contracts in the oil sector that you're now dancing to the tune to upkeep them? I don't know. I'm just asking. I know. We live in a hustling world, Timothy. And we are dealing with hustlers. But always remember, the purpose of life is to make others happy too. And if you can't do that, don't hurt them. Don't let them go hungry with pain for your personal gain. Have a nice day. Lall and the Guyanese people was never and will never be low lives. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Timothy. The fight continues whether you, the leaders of this land, or ExxonMobil like it or not. This is a message from Lall. Please join me every Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, 7:20 on the Kaieteur radio, and let's continue this discussion. All the reports and expenses in the oil sector are being kept away from our eyes by Jagdeo, President Ali, and Norton. Stabrook News and Kaieteur News got hold of a single report that was done by a British firm on the expenses of the exploration cost, 1.6 billion US. In that report, we found out that Exxon two partners charged Guyana 31.4 million US in expenses before them even signed the contract. How you like that? The partners not even come in the business legally yet. But Exxon allowed them to put in a bill to Guyana for 31.4 million US, saying them spend that before the legal signing of the contract. What were they pumping before? Themselves? Or were they pumping each other that racked up that figure? Don't know. I'm just asking. If these people are so barefaced to do us something like that with 1.6 billion before they enter Guyana, imagine what they're doing to us in Guyana with that 40 billion them spend already out there. 30 nice schools, or 30 nice health centers, or 30 nice police or fire stations. Them hunching us on that one single line item, 31.4 million US, the auditor exposed. Imagine how much billions them hunch us in Lisa 1, 2, and 3 when I even check it. Because Jagdeo say he can't find people to check them. Instead, our leaders correct these things and put measures in place to thoroughly scrutinize these types of skullduggery. They're sharing out invitation for them to come and thief more. The 5th project, Jagdeo is going to approve again. And Exxon will walk away without pumping anything more into our pockets. No taxes, no ring fencing, no capping of the interest rates, etc. So the poverty in this land will continue. Your children will continue to go to school with empty lunch kits, while their parents thieving soap, Colgate and milk in the supermarkets. I love Guyana. And I love the leaders too. Hear this Jumbie story If Guyana is to challenge that 31.4 million, them already take out in the courts, me and you got to pay them lawyer fees, and we own too. This is Guyana. Beautiful Guyana. Much more to come on this report. Stay tuned daily and have a nice day. Clap, clap, clap your hands and go vote for them. A message from Lall. Guyana finds itself in a very sad place. We have reached the lowest of low in this country, where I believe the PPP would have never reached, they have gone. They cannot defend what they're doing to this country. So when reporters ask them tough questions, they resort to attacking them. A Facebook post by a known PPP associated group has attacked one of my female reporters. A few weeks ago, President Ali held a press conference at Lenora, his hometown, with his own people. My reporter, while asking him questions, was heckled and intimidated. The slangs that were thrown at her by the PPP supporters drove fear into another reporter, so much so that the young lady was afraid to even identify herself as a reporter, much less to ask a question. This is where Guyana has reached. The president holding a press conference in his comfort zone to drive fear in reporters. The same reporter who was identified at Lenora for asking President Ali questions about our oil was again asking questions about the oil sector at Jagdeo's press conference yesterday. Not long afterwards, this female reporter, a young lady of class, someone who has earned my respect, has been insulted, degraded, and humiliated in the worst way possible via social media. This girl has been a dedicated fighter in the struggle to securing a better Guyana for all of us through the pages of Kaieteur News and now on the radio station. This courageous young lady has been in the forefront of the fight against this injustice being done to Guyanese people with that ExxonMobil contract that the PPP does not want to hear about or talked about. Her devotion to truth, exposing lies and deceit, has now resulted in her being ridiculed in the vilest of ways. She has been abused by PPP agents just for doing her job, asking questions and writing articles about this wholesale robbery going on in this land today. This is what our country has come to. This is what our government is about. This is the kind of people the leadership of this country surrounds themselves with, hooligans and goons. As a man, and a real one too, let me say this. I find this level of nastiness against this fine young lady is worst of the worst and the lowest of the low. I am not only condemning this behavior in the strongest possible way, but I spit on those who orchestrated this vile deed and those who actually did it. Let us pray for them, that their hearts will be healed of the sickness that festers in them, the unholiness within them. God bless Guyana. How much more dotish, corrupt and clumsy the leaders of this land can become. Exxon partner, Hess Corporation, boasting to their shareholders and the world How much US billions them will make out of Guyana's oil? While our leaders boasting about how that same partner, John Hess, says he's a director on the board of Mount Sinai Hospital, and how he will ask them to work with Guyana to deliver a modernized healthcare system. He gonna ask Mount Sinai for help, are we? We have so much oil wealth alone here that can build and develop the best medical institutions, hire the best medical practitioners of the world to come here and administer top of the line free health care in this country to the Guyanese people. But our leaders don't have the foresight, the wisdom, the business savvy in them to create that out of our oil resources. The oil company can ask Mount Sinai to come and help us to put a management system in place to manage the hospital. Yes, the hospitals we have without any working X-ray machine inside. This happens in third world countries when I elect clowns and put them in the seat of the headmaster's chair. Oil gone done. Before I wake up 20 years from now with the speed in which Jagdev were approving these projects, and not an X-ray machine will be in working conditions in them kangaroo hospitals, them said they're going to bill for y'all. Clap, clap, clap your hands and go out and vote for them. Have a nice day. This is a message from Glenn Lall. Please share it. Here is rigmarole Nancy story Jagdev giving Guyanese on a simple, straightforward question.
What is the interest rate that we are paying on those investments in the oil field? And can you say if you're going to put a cap on it?
So the interest rate question, I'm familiar with that, and that's been asked. I'm not going to go down that route again. It's the same questions that keep surfacing. Today, I'm not going to deal with issues that I've dealt with before.
Then I back up that question. I asked that similar question, the exact question my reporter asked you at the last press conference, in which I said the IMF, and all the world is asking to cap the interest rates. And when you were walking out, you did not answer it. When you were walking out, you said, Glenn, you will answer that question at the next press conference. Here you're telling us that you will answer.
All right, so about capping, etc., I said all of these issues, that interest rate capping, it's complex. It deals with the cost of raising capital, whether it's competitively sourced, the availability of money now for the oil and gas industry. You know, many banks in the world today will not lend into fossil fuel, anything to do with fossil fuel, because they're moving away from that, their lending policy. Raising capital for this industry. We've seen in Guyana's case, you don't need to go far. The Biden administration vetoed the loan that Gisby had from the IDB, claiming that it was going to go for the oil and gas industry. And this is a local company trying to put in place only the infrastructure to service the oil and gas industry. And they got their loan vetoed. And so it's not easy to raise billions of US dollars in capital. So interest rates are reflective of the cost of raising capital. Sometimes it's better to have equity come in, and other times it's interest. It's a complex issue. But so the concern has been raised, just like all of the other concerns in the PSA that I have mentioned, that you write about every day, that I mentioned, but we have a differing view on how we address them. We address all of them now for the 9 contracts that were issued from Ramatar era, the whole Ramatar era, and Trotman, and then all of the 14, hopefully 14 new ones that we will sign. That's 23 new contracts will have the new law, the new PSA, all of these things about capping cost recovery, 10% royalty, all of that will be in the new one. The Stabroek block, we said before we came into government, we're not doing this. We don't want to kill the momentum. The moment you start a dispute, you kill the momentum of the industry, and everything dries up here for a while.
Banks moving away, lending in the fossil fuel industry. Joe Biden administration had to veto a loan from IDB to our local Gisbees. So how come Joe Biden giving Guyana loan for the gas to shore project? Gisbee investment is not going to put money into the American pockets, so they blocked that. The Wales gas to shore is going to put money in the US bank account, so it's okay for that loan to come through. Then Jagdeo trying to tell us that interest rate and capping of it is a complex one. This man going out his mind. Every banking institution lining up, competing to lend ExxonMobil money to get a bite of the sweetness here in Guyana. But here Jagdeo tell us interest rate is a reflective of the cost of raising capital. The 23 new contracts to be signed will not have a problem getting loans. And he will make sure he cap those interest rates. But the Exxon Stabroek block, them can charge us whatever, 20-30%, our oil will pay like a donkey. Everything will be corrected and fixed for those 14 small, uncertain oil blocks. But Exxon oil field that has 600 oil blocks in it, with almost 90% of Guyana's oil inside. Jagdeo not correcting or even saying a single word on that. Let them do whatever they want to Guyana. That's the man I'm in love with. The smartest Guyana produce. Clap, clap, clap by your hands and go vote for them. Have a nice day. Wholesale sellout to ExxonMobil. Guyana's oil business with Exxon has become a cancer, a deadly poison to the leaders of this land in all camps. Since the new AFC signed that horrible Exxon contract and left office, little or nothing we hear from them. And when you do hear, they selectively choose what they want to respond to when Kaieteur News and other media houses exposes what's going on in the oil sector. As for the government, ever since ex-President Jagdeo put himself in charge of the oil sector, all you hear from him is about the 14 new oil blocks to come on stream. What and what Guyana will get out of them if oil is found in them. And keep on promising that the mistakes the coalition made with Exxon's Stabroek block contract will not be repeated in those 14 new oil contracts. This has been Jagdeo's mantra every time he opens his mouth to talk about oil. Why is he only correcting and fixing everything for the future oil blocks and not correcting the golden goose we have presently in Exxon's Stabroek oil field, called the Stabroek block, which has 600 oil blocks inside, not 14, but 600 that holds almost 90% of Guyana's oil in it. Let me give you an idea so you get an understanding. This is the Stabroek block from Suriname to Venezuela with 600 oil block in here. He's not focusing on this. He's focusing on 14 tiny oil blocks outside the Stabroek block. Can somebody tell me something? Say something? They are so barefaced and shameless what's going on that they don't want to come out in person and tell us how much we collect from the oil. January to March, the first quarter of 2023. Vice President Jagdeo get Bank of Guyana today to put out a statement to the press saying Guyana received $219 million in royalty and profits. 3 months. 90 days, Guyana get $219 million. And Exxon made $6.3 million US every hour throughout 2022 in profits. Prepare your minds to suffer just like how our brothers and sisters in Africa and Asia barely eating 1 meal a day. What's happening here presently with your resources is what took place there. Are you really prepared to be silent on this? Or you're settling for 5,000 to wear a green jersey and a 10,000 to wear a red jersey and clap your hands to vote for them? Which one? More to come on this. Please share and join me on every TikTok. Fellow Guyanese, the oil companies extracted $2.880 billion US out of our oil field from January to the end of March this year. Guess how much Guyana get out of that? It is so shameful that President Ali and Vice President Jagdeo didn't announce that figure themselves. They get Bank of Guyana 2 days ago to put out a statement saying that we received $219 million. Do the maths yourself. 400,000 barrels pumping every day. Multiply that by $80. It's $32 million US a day. Multiply that by the 90 days, January to March. It's $2.880 billion US. And out of that, Guyana received $219 million in royalties and profits. So, $2.661 billion US out of our oil left Guyana, and we only receive 219 in 3 months. What a Guyana. When they begin pumping in Liza 3 and 4, we will receive about the same amount. And that is what Jagdeo said. Government has to run like a business and not like a cake shop. Listen to him for yourselves.
It's a business decision. Governments have to be run like business. It's not cake shop operation.
Them shame for tell Guyana what oil companies doing to us. And in the same breath, both President Ali and Jagdeo going to approve the fifth project with those same terms and conditions, giving the oil companies more leeway to further rape, rob, and sodomize every Guyanese. Where is your voice? Where is the outrage against this slaughter of our present and our future? My brothers and sisters, please, I am begging you to wake up. Wake up to this reality, or else reality will wake you up. Have a nice day. This is a message from Lall. Please share it and join me every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:20 p.m. on the Kaieteur radio. Every press conference this party hold, 3/4 of it is spent cussing and abusing out each other. They spend hours talking about frivolous things on what this one did and what that one do. The burning issues that are strangling this nation are missing from their tongue and more so their brains. Go listen to all their press conferences and you're going to understand what I'm saying. Jagdeo had one 2 days ago. Listen to it yourselves. He spent 10 minutes talking about building playgrounds with FIFA standards in Linden and across this country because the PNC had said something about that. Then another 10 minutes on selling low carbon credits and what he will do with the 2 cents he get out of it. Then he talked about expired drugs. Them had to throw away because bad management by the PNC. Talked about building some roads, few schools, and some prefabricated homes in the pipeline. Then he went on to talk about the oil sector. The plans them have for the 14 new oil blocks that they are going to put up for sale. How many changes will be made to those contracts and the benefits we will get from them. And the way in which he's talking to this nation, you people believe he's doing all these changes in the entire oil industry, when in fact he's not. Let me repeat, he is not changing anything with the Stabroek block, that whole three-quarter of Guyana's oil. He is correcting every wrongs in the Exxon contract for the future on certain oil fields and contracts, but not saying, touching, or correcting those same evils that sits in the Stabroek Black contract with Exxon. Exxon and their partners will continue to rob, rape, and cheat us until the Stabroek Block oil field empty. Nada. He said absolutely nothing throughout that press conference about the oil operation going on presently. That's not the Guyanese people's business. We must know what is happening out there presently. We must only know what he has planned for the future on certain oil blocks. The one that is bearing fruit today, the Stabroek Block, we don't need to know anything what's going on with it. We must know how much US billions. We must know how much US billions coming out in interest rates. We must ask about taxes. We must know about ring fencing. We must not know about full protection of this country and us. About clean-up billions them taking out. We must know about the inflated expenses. How much they're robbing us. Or how they're robbing us. Nothing. And when questions are put to him at that same press conference, he said, it's the same questions that you're bringing over and over. He don't talk about those things already, which he never, ever address since they go into office. And when I try to tell him he's not saying anything about our oil, he's trying to embarrass me, telling me, Glenn, you're not listening to the press conference. You people have a nice day. I shudder to think where this country is heading and what will become of it. When I look back at the few scoping meetings Exxon hosted about their oil projects they're about to do in a couple places across this country, what they say to us, what they focus on, and what they're doing to Guyana and our school kids in the process, it's not sad. It's frightening. The last scoping meeting I attended at Mycone Secondary School, they brought out about 50 children out of the classrooms to tell them how the oil ships coming alongside the FPSOs to transfer the oil, and asked them if they would like to become a worker on those ships. They talk about how much 1,000 barrels of oil the project will pump daily. They talk about how much produced water will be dumped into the Atlantic Ocean with oil and deadly chemicals. They tell us about the flaring. They tell us about some of the damages that the project gonna have on the environment. Then tell the children them, don't worry, it's nothing to worry about. You see how they're misleading people? And you see who they're targeting? Going into schools and other places where people don't understand much about the oil sector. And when it's time for the questions and answer, the Guyanese moderator, using up the limited time, asking the children if they have any questions, trying to block the media from asking important questions. And when we do get to ask a few questions about the oil, about what we, the Guyanese people, will benefit in terms of cash from these projects, or if Guyana would be fully compensated from an oil spill and other things, the same moderator, Alex Graham, is telling the Exxon people not to answer those questions. And if you have any other questions, when time runs out, send them in writing, because we're running late for another meeting in Berbice. This is the tricks, the stunts, the wool they're pulling over we eyes in broad daylight, and we must smile with that. This is what your own people and the foreigners doing to us in our own country with our own wealth. The exact thing they did to African Asia that has those people where they are today. And Bharat Jagdeo is going to approve the 5th project. Have a nice day. And are you going to stay in your fingers for more poverty and starvation? A message from Glenn Lall, please share it. Guyana discovered oil in 2015. In those 5 years, the coalition sat there, never held a press conference to talk exclusively about oil. The Minister of State, Joseph Harman, was asked at 4 different press conferences when he will hold a press conference to talk about oil. He said at first that he has to put together the oil team. He left office and disappeared. And that was the end of that. The PPP, headed by Jagdeo in opposition, used to hold press conferences and promised to investigate what the PNC did. They won the elections and came into power. It's going on 3 years now. And they have never held a press conference to talk exclusively about this US $1 trillion oil sector. Now, we have the opposition headed by Norton, and they have never held any such press conference on oil. Yet, both the PNC and the PPP hosting press conferences regularly. And if they are not asked, you will hear little or absolutely nothing from them about this sector. Jagdeo held 5 press conferences in just a few weeks. 4, yes, 4 held at Freedom House to talk about your vote and other party issues, and only one on national issues, in which 3/4 of that press conference was to attack and abuse out the PNC. And then he spoke about some frivolous things, what them have in store for the 14 new oil blocks, where not a single drop of oil has been discovered in any one of them. The Exxon Stabroek block, where billions of barrels were discovered, there has not been a single word said about that block. And when oil questions are put to Jagdeo on what's going on with the oil business and how it's run, instead of answering the questions, he tries to insult and embarrass the Kaieteur News. This has been their way of distracting the nation from the exploitation and mismanagement of our gold and oil industry. Cheers. Take a drink. And y'all gonna vote for them. This is a message from Lall. Please share it. More blatant deception. And I pass by Vice President Jagdeo in this country. In 5 weeks, Jagdeo held 5 press conferences. 1 on so-called national issues and 4 at Freedom House. He told the press at his first Freedom House press conference, he's only dealing with party issues. Lo and behold, on Thursday at his Freedom House press conference, he chose to announce the approval of the EPA permit of the 5th oil project to Exxon and told us Exxon got 30 days to provide parent company guarantee for full liability coverage in the event of an oil spill. The citizens have been constantly banging for this full protection years now. And year come, year go, Jagdeo keeps on promising that we will get it from Exxon. Here, he granted Exxon the 5th EPA permit and told Guyana, in 30 days, we will get that parent company guarantee. The horror story in done there. Jagdeo knew the next day, Friday morning, he was going to approve the production license too for this mega oil project and didn't say a single word. What kind of leader does things like this? The government signed the contract that morning without even inviting the press, giving Exxon the go-ahead to start pumping how much they want, further burning our pockets, destroying our future. Like a thief in the night, they are signing away billions of US of our assets without inviting the press to inform the nation who are the owners of this wealth. This 5th project is the biggest investment and development so far this country has ever seen, which our oil has to pay for, and the press was locked out. What are they hiding? What they don't want us to know or to ask. So, you have 3 things burning our souls here. We will continue to wait many years to come for that parent company guarantee to protect Guyana. And 2, he has secured nothing more out of this 5th project for the Guyanese people, other than the crumbs we are getting from the previous projects that he himself cussed down and abused down about when he was in the opposition. And the 3rd, how sneaky they are. Let me repeat, like a thief in the night, signing away our future in secrecy. Are you better out this fire these chaps lighting on Guyana and do it quickly. The wind is raging, heading our way to the same fire. And the way I am seeing what's happening, what's playing out in this country, many of you will be burnt in your sleep. All because of these selfish, greedy, or corrupt bastards we have parading themselves as leaders. You notice the PNC and the AFC are silent too. Clap, clap, clap your hands and go vote for them. Have a nice day. A message from Lall. Please share it. You guys know any sane person who would sign up legal paperwork to pay $10 million for a house that a man built for them? And after signing the legal documents, he then asks the contractor 2 days later to see the bills if it is correct or how much he robbed him. You know anybody who would do things like that? Well, this is what these parasites for leaders in Guyana doing to us with ExxonMobil and our oil. President Ali and Vice President Kaieteur approved $12.7 billion US for that fifth oil project. And 2 days after, them now asking ExxonMobil to see the bills. Yes, to see how much Exxon robbed us in that 12.7 million US. This is how Kaieteur and President Ali running Guyana's oil sector, signing up money business first to pay with the contractor, then ask questions after. Good going, guys. You guys gonna become rich. Rich with these parasites y'all have here. It's like your son done sign legal paperwork to marry a woman he never see. And 2 days after, he signed half the paperwork. He asking to see his bride. This is how you run a country. Like a business, not like a cake shop.
It's a business decision. Governments have to be run like business. It's not cake shop operation.
Since independence, we fetching a debt burden on our shoulders of $3 billion that we can't find a way to pay off and clear off that debts. And here, we are signing away, agreeing to pay $12.7 billion US out of our oil, and these parasites asking questions after. 12.7 billion American dollars is 4 years of this country budget. Just signing as if it's a bag of tennis roll or a bottle juice. Every year, these parasites does debate and put up arguments in Parliament over we little 3 billion budget. This 12.7 billion US was signed away without a press conference or a public ceremony. And this whole nation is silent. If you guys think snatching handbags, umbrella phones, motorbikes, and plastic bag with tennis roll is bad in this land today, wait, watch and see what's coming your way. Keep on burying your heads in the sand, blindly following these parasites y'all have parading themselves as caring leaders and loving leaders.